the cicadas. Isn't it, Josh? Is the off spray in the car?
Yeah.
You want to go grab it?
Can you go grab the off spray out of the car? It's on my door. Where are they going?
Tom's grave.
Okay.
I'm just kind of recording this way we can watch it on the TV. And if we hear something, it's on this.
Yeah.
I really like to know what that was. And did you hear that noise?
The boom?
No.
Or the animal?
The animal. It sounded freaking weird. I got hiccups. It's a beautiful graveyard.
It is. You would think a week ago you only seen it in videos.
Yeah. And now we're here. This is awesome. And then she's also letting us know some history of this.
Yeah.
Well, no spiders so far.
So I got Michael to talk to me for a moment, but it was instant.
Those are weird, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't know how they worked before, so. Such a beautiful tree. Turning you for a minute. Picture. Bet you it gets really quiet here at night.
It's a 50-50.
Kids are having so much fun. They're just like, freedom!
I asked Omar. I sent a message to Omar. I haven't heard him. Asked him if he wanted a kid over the night, since he always has kids, and Isaiah would freaking love it.
Right? You really
But, did you guys want him tonight?
would. I don't care.
You know why? Because he loves being around the kids.
Right?
You know, and it's like, they really hit it off.
Yeah, they have. And I bet it's been hard on him being down here and not having any other kids to play with and stuff.
I just
Yeah.
I was walking,
Wow.
walking to get this, right?
Yeah.
My
And-
little brother's
listen,
kinda
let me
like a
finish.
little kid himself.
I finished. I was walking down, and there was a
That's
light.
not what I was going for.
Oh,
There
but
was
you're
a
getting
light.
it now.
On one of the graves. I seen it. It was no, there ain't no sun or anything.
Hey,
There
guys.
was a light right over there.
How are you?
I was just listening to what you were saying.
I was walking towards the car.
Yeah.
I'm a medium, so
It's so weird.
I figured you guys were.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
It was so weird because I
You
was
mind
just
being
walking.
videotaped? Okay, I'm
I
just
just didn't want to be
kinda-
on it if
Anyway, I went to
Yeah.
the car and I was walking down, and I looked over there and I seen it was very, very bright light, right? And then when I was coming back, it was no longer there.
You should have walked
And there
over
was
there.
there was no sun anywhere.
Yeah, my legs.
There's history behind the property. Behind the cemetery, there used to be a slaughterhouse.
Yeah, I heard about the slaughterhouse.
Do you need some of this?
Because
No,
That's-
okay.
Are you
because
sure?
Omar talked about the slaughterhouse,
her
right?
mom is allergic to
Yeah.
it, so we walk in the house and she has a reaction if we spray on
Oh,
ourselves.
Oh.
okay.
Have you ever heard of Omar Gosh?
Yes, I've watched the videos
Okay.
all
Is
the
that the one
time.
you showed me?
Yes.
Yeah, we had lunch. We had lunch with him today. It was
He's
awesome.
really good friends of mine.
Yeah, yeah. We
That's
came here from Washington
We drove-
State
I drove
to
over.
meet him.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
It,
I was supposed to be a driver too, but kind of broke my feet a couple.
she weaseled out
not too
a
long.
week and a half before we left.
Yeah.
And pretty sad.
Omar actually
People are
asked me,
like-
he goes, I can't make it out here today.
Tell me
but
about
you
it.
take them? And I was like, I'm more than happy to.
I drove from Lincoln City, Nebraska to here
Over 1,300 miles.
with almost, no, I think I stopped in
I don't even know where it
Alabama. I
was.
stopped at Love's in Alabama for like 2 hours and took a quick nap.
You're a trooper. 'Cause I'd have been like, I'm sleeping. Leave me alone.
That's
I
what
was the
that's what I did kind
passenger,
of this morning,
and
but
he
the
got more
worst
sleep
part
than I
is I'm
did.
an insomniac,
Oh yeah.
and on top of it, I have anxiety. So when I start getting sleepy, my anxiety kicks in.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I have to take medications, and I wanted to be able to get up to go out to lunch today. So
That
I
man
was
was it
up.
good.
I was up. Oh, it
Where'd
was
you lunch at?
the China buffet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Buffet City.
Buffet. Oh, I
Buffet
can't
City?
eat there. Very
Oh,
bad on
gosh.
my stomach.
Oh,
Very
I
bad.
love it.
Omar
I
chose
love
it. So it's his favorite place. So we're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I let him choose. He goes, "Where do you want to go?" And I said, "I don't know. You choose." He
Well, we
goes,
were
"What do you
originally
think
gonna
of
stay in
China
Wikiwashi.
buffet?"
Oh yeah.
And the rental, we had rented out a house on one of the river, on one of the outlets for the river. And the day after we left Washington, we suddenly got a cancellation notice.
I'm like, "What? I paid full cash for that, and full price for that and everything." What happened was she felt so bad. She gave me a call and she goes, "The people that rented the place before us broke a pipe and didn't tell them, and the cleaning lady came in and the whole place was filled with water." So it destroyed the master bedroom, master bath, and half the kitchen.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
you know those tenants are going to be getting a nice.
They
big,
can't
hefty
prove it.
bill. Oh, that's even
They
worse.
can't prove it, but their insurance is covering it. $33,000 worth of damage. And
And
to
then
top
they-
that
the only
off,
thing they
they
can get 'em
broke
for,
into
yeah.
a
They
closet
kicked into
door,
the closet that they store everything in for cleaning and everything.
and they broke the door and everything, and they could charge them for that, so
Okay,
they
I
did.
was gonna say
And they got
that.
so mad. They said, "Hey, you broke it.
You paid for
You
it.
got the credit card right there. You should know not to do stupid things, you know." And so the
Have you been in any of his videos? The one in Tallahassee?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, that was Patty and his wife, Mary.
Okay.
Or
Melissa.
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 Why did I say
Which
Mary?
videos have you been in? Because I was wondering. I was like,
She looks
Do you-
familiar. I'm in a lot of his live streams and stuff with him.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And he just did a video where he showed up at my house and I wasn't there. So my dog was in the video. And, my house was in the video, and I was at like Denny's 4 blocks away.
No,
Yeah,
I've
it
never
was-
met him, but I do watch his videos. But I come out here quite frequently. I can tell you you're looking at the perfect spot on the video.
Did you
I've had
hear-
a lot of action there personally?
Did you hear the part where the people were talking about a barbecue? That we were supposed to have a barbecue on this, well, it was supposed to be on the 2nd at first, and then it was supposed to be on the 31st.
No.
And that people were always talking about it on YouTube, on those live chats and
Oh
stuff.
yes, I did. Hear
That's me.
Oh hey.
Yeah,
That's me.
this is the one that said the broken feet weren't going to stop her.
Yeah. And,
There you go.
Or
What did
surgery.
you do?
yeah, I
Fell down, slipped, missed a step going downstairs, and landed with both feet like this.
Oh.
and
bless
fell
your heart.
forward off of the steps, landed on my knee,
Something didn't work.
and I did a roll on hard ground. There was no carpet there. And just kind of sat there for like 20 minutes or so before we decided to call the ambulance because I started going into shock.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And so I ended up spending 4 or 5 nights in the hospital. I can't remember, but I've got in this foot here, I got 3 tent stakes
Yeah, when they took the
Stakes.
wrappings off to check it, we had it checked just before we left to make
because
sure
I wanted to
everything
make
was
sure
good.
everything was
Right,
okay
yeah.
before I left.
And it literally looks like the stakes that come with the tents when you buy them.
Okay.
It looks like those sticking out of the bottom of our feet, and I'm like, it looks like you got in a terrible camping accident.
Scoot that way just a little bit because I'm just filming over here and if
No.
anything shows up.
That tree's pretty perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's where you always see the hanging bodies.
when the surgeon
Did I
came,
not tell you that?
after I had my surgery and the surgeon came in, I said, "I'm leaving for Florida on the 27th." I said, "No matter what." And he goes,
About a week
"27th, huh?"
later, I had
And he's like, "Okay." Yeah, make sure you get out of the car. And then like 2 to 3 days before we left, he ended up having to have his gallbladder removed. So
I know.
And then
His
the
stomach.
same day I had to go in and get a
Me
tooth.
too.
So
We feel ya. Yep. Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Just
So
bruising a little.
Yeah.
so we're like told his surgeon
Are we
before surgery.
going?
we're going.
And his teeth. And his teeth.
Yeah, I
And
had
so-
one of my
yeah.
back molar on the top. I had to have it yanked
Oh my
because it would have been almost
Like I
$1,000 after insurance for a root canal and a crown,
Just
or $57 to have it pulled.
It's not,
Yeah.
$7 to have it pulled.
If I have the money further down the road, I can have a fake one bolted in.
Yeah.
It's one tooth.
It's not
Yeah.
a big deal.
something
Yeah,
wasn't-
you learn how to chew other
something-
ways.
Something didn't want us to come.
That's what I felt like. And then all of a sudden Mo was having his wedding.
Mom's getting married.
Yeah, Mo was getting married, and
His
then
wife is gorgeous. Well, his
Is
soon-to-be
she?
Yeah.
wife is absolutely gorgeous. She's
He's
perfect for him.
gorgeous.
and he's
Absolutely perfect for him.
So-
she puts up with all this bullshit.
Okay, that
Yeah.
sounded terrible at first because I have it's almost like dyslexia with my hearing. So sometimes I'll mishear words, and the first thing I heard was his wife to be is a whore, and I'm like, wait, that's not something very nice to say.
No. She's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Compared to his last one, this one is.
Okay,
yeah. I can't believe she puts up with a lot of the stuff he does.
Mine two are the two little girls.
and then the little
The boy
boys
is
are
my
nephew.
grandson.
Those
He-
girls go with me to all kinds of paranormal investigations.
awesome.
Listen,
No,
we'll
I
go
love
with
it.
you too. If you want to take us as
Yeah,
your kids
absolutely.
too. We'll go.
I look 12 most of the time. It's okay. I can pretend to be 12. Yeah.
I just absolutely. There's not a lot of places.
Because I always catch stuff out here.
Me
like
too.
it never fails. Every time I come out here, I catch some type of EVPs or.
Something went
Something
crashing
wrong
in the
this way.
bushes just a few minutes ago.
No, it was back over that
Back
way,
over that way.
back behind the little girl's grave.
Just a
Yeah,
great big
yeah.
huge bang, and then all of a sudden we heard this really weird animal.
I've been attacked.
You've been attacked by a mosquito.
Oh! You got a gecko.
I want one. I had it in my hand. He jumped off of me.
And you know,
I used to catch the snake back in Washington. I used to catch the snakes and the lizards all the time.
I put.
And then people would yell at me because I'd be walking around with like a 4-foot bull snake, and I'd be like holding it by the tail end, and its head's just. It's gonna bite you.
how do you know it's a boy?
Nope.
Oh, how do you know it's a boy?
I
Miss
dropped it.
Cora. She is all about
Thank you.
anything reptile.
Me too. I grew up in Phoenix, so I was catching snakes and
Worst way
everything.
to
And
catch it is by the tail, because their tails come off.
There's no tails.
Yeah.
Long story short, I made one. That was
are you guys on Facebook?
Yeah.
I've done that.
Okay, if you guys
It
look
was an
me up,
accident. I scaled it.
Carol Robinson, and in between put an L,
Okay.
and it should show up Carol Loman Robinson.
Is it a C? It's a C.
C.
Yep.
Yes, and I can let you know if there's anything on it.
Just say my
I know
eyes
I'm-
didn't want to focus on
I have to say the heat.
Videos at Super Kai TV.
Okay.
I think I've seen that pop up a couple of times.
You
and I was
should
like,
be watching, and I'm like, okay.
I do
Oh,
lots
it's
of family
awesome.
vlogs and lots of paranormal. So if it's not with the kids hanging out doing fun stuff, I'm off catching ghosts somewhere.
I mean, yeah.
It's dead almost, or it is.
We're trying
Not
to
quite.
get into it.
It's not
She's,
easy.
She's stronger than me. I can feel things.
Patty, you write me yet?
Not yet.
I can feel things. I pushed it away a long time ago. After my
Cicadas.
grandfather died,
Mm-hmm.
because I saw him all the time, and I was like, I'm weird. I was 12.
Right.
I was like, I'm weird. I can't do this. Nobody talked about it. Nobody, you look, talk to
The picture, show her the
my
picture I
grandpa
took.
last night. Wait, didn't he just die? Yeah. How'd you see him?
here,
And it was
Mary's
just one of
messaged
those
you.
things that I pushed
Okay.
it away. And
Marie.
since we've been
Marie.
together, it's one of those things that I've been accepting it a little bit more. I see it more in my dreams. Like
That's the easiest way for them to come through.
I've lost 4 children, and I see my daughter, my first one that I lost. And
hear that.
it happens. It's something you cope with. But I've seen her. My little sister has seen all of my kids, except for my youngest that I lost most recently. But she's seen all of them, and so I've kind of been embracing it, and I feel
What'd
more
she
when
say?
I'm around her.
Well, embrace it. Go in it with an open mind, and you'll get a lot more things to happen. You just can't shut it out, you know? And no matter how crazy you think and feel that it's making you, you're not crazy.
There's
It's
some-
actually happening.
There's something in our house.
What'd she say?
There's something in our house. The white lady.
She asked us if we were going out anywhere.
That's kind of what she looks like.
We're here.
She
So,
hasn't seen her. I've seen
have
her.
you
seen
guys?
the shadow people out here?
Yes, I have.
Like
Have you
the
guys-
ones that
do you
like
guys
to
know the
run
G
right
team?
there in front?
Yeah.
Maria might be coming
Oh,
here.
Oh, really?
She just wrote me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. She asked me if we were doing anything tonight, and I said, yeah, we're sitting in the Spring Hill Cemetery right now. We'll be here for a while.
I wonder if she got her camera again.
Yeah,
Brooksville,
I hope
right?
so.
There's a house, 2 haunted houses actually in
if
Brooksville.
they've watched Omar's video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're right around the corner.
They fenced off the red one now.
Oh,
Yeah.
not with him
Yeah.
on
The
you.
May Stringer.
Go put him away
No, not
because
the
this is
May
like
Stringer,
bird
the
spray.
Saturday.
The suicide.
They could kill
Oh
him.
yeah, yeah, they did.
They should go to the neighborhood.
Was it Mansfield?
That's
Was what their name
Okay,
was?
do
I
not
think so,
They
hold.
should go to the
Okay,
neighborhood.
hold your hands
There's a
tight
Oh,
The
yeah.
abandoned neighborhood.
to where you don't have it on your hands.
Was it Hillview?
Turn.
Yeah, I think it's so.
Can you spray me too?
Sure.
After
Yeah.
a couple videos that,
Okay, turn to
some
where I
of
could
my
get the
friends,
front
like
of you.
holy
Do not
walkers
put
and stuff
the
did, I kind of just didn't want to
lizard
go
on
out
you.
there 'cause they
Matter
were
of fact,
getting
I would
stalked
let
by
it
somebody
go.
out
Look,
there.
we
There was somebody
were-
messing
oh,
with
yeah.
them really bad.
We were out there one day, just driving
You mind
around.
on your
and
clothes?
We didn't get out. We didn't have
Yeah.
time. But
Okay,
there
close
was
your
a
eyes.
girl out there taking
I won't spray your
senior
face.
pictures, and I was like,
And turn.
Right. No, they
You
were
want
out
some
there at
on
like
too?
3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and there was somebody that
Want
was
some off?
actually like stalking them.
You want to do it or you want me
them
to?
down
I
and
can-
stuff.
wow.
Here, Mama.
Yeah, they got really, really bad. Where they
Thank
called
you.
people.
Can't. You're welcome.
Us, but
I
me and,
appreciate it.
group of my
No
friends,
problem.
Starting to attack
we
my
went during the
jeans.
day.
Yeah.
This is jeans.
They got me a few times.
Thank
Thank you.
And
Oh,
on
my
one of
nose.
them, there were scratches on the back of the door. And when we kind of shut the door a little bit to look, the door slammed.
It's been a long
Here, I'm
time.
gonna go take the phone to the car.
Oh yeah.
So we can
And
so I can charge it.
Okay, but I'll have to. You'll have to go back to the car in a little bit to find out what Marie said.
The most haunted one, but there's still lights on inside
See,
there
right?
and working computers.
It's
and
at less than
everything.
5%.
Right?
So
It's creepy.
Oh, yeah.
No, she hasn't-
During the day too.
Yeah, that's one of my places that I have on my
Is it?
list, but at the same time, I'm like,
Nobody.
seeing some of the things.
Um,
talking to some
Plug
of
it
the-
in, and I'll have you check it in a few minutes.
Okay, because
That way you
I was like, I don't want to go out there by myself.
We'll go with
And
you.
Omar's like, I'm not skid stuff to go back out.
Where's
there
this
because
at?
they've already-
"It's
The Hillview apartments, that whole entire housing community. That's
I want to
completely
go
abandoned.
there.
It's here in Brooksville.
How well can you get around in
wheelchair
there?
accessible. It's wheelchair accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I mean,
Just let me grab my pistol before we go out there.
yeah.
okay.
I don't wanna go out there
We're here
alone.
till the 6th. We're staying in the Hampton Inn.
Okay.
So
We
no,
down to go
not
together.
there.
We're gonna be out of town.
You'll be with
tomorrow
her.
You can stay home with
because I
us.
actually
Yeah.
just had surgery.
Do you want to stay the night at their house tonight?
I got video games.
It's up to you. We already
I
talked.
brought video
We have a
games,
guest.
but you know what I
We have a
forgot?
guest.
Plug in.
I got
Because
video
you guys
games.
you
I brought
guys
my
hit it
Xbox
off,
One
and
X.
you're probably
All
bored
my
with
games,
sleeping on the floor and
HDMI cord, external hard drives
recorder's
that
going
more games
quiet.
are on.
what?
Yeah, I actually just
Opened it up, started setting it up, and I'm like,
Well, it's up to you. You know.
looking through all
Okay.
my pouches.
You could go into Walmart.
Luckily, they made it so much easier.
And we're gonna end up
Huh.
going swimming over at
It's
their
just a little-
house.
It's like the old radio cords now.
So,
Daniel swimsuit. Make sure to bring my bag.
do you guys have an in-ground pool or an out-of-ground?
In-ground pool.
Oh,
And
It's
it's like 6 feet.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And those
You
are
like
ton of
that.
floaties in
Make
there.
him go into my old house.
You
Like
like
we
that.
got a
You can mail
shark
that down
floaty
real
in
quick.
there. We got a line floaty in there. We had a huge toucan in there, but
Nope.
well,
somebody
That's
else.
a cop car. That's a
Really
very
nice.
unmarked cop car.
I don't remember what
Wait, what do you mean
who's
that's
got what car.
No.
So I don't know.
I don't know
Yeah, we did. I
Marie's
didn't
car.
expect anything.
I know
Yeah.
Omar's car. I know Melissa's car. I know Patty's car. I don't know Marie's car.
that could be.
But I think she actually. Wait a minute. She
Marie-
actually a little SUV
Well,
kind of
some-
like ours.
Somebody honked their horn.
Oh, that was back
That was
here.
Hank.
I don't have
Oh.
my phone either.
Okay.
I do. She's
It's
killing
most
it.
people I've ever seen out here.
On the 6th is Sunday.
Okay, see,
Everybody knows I'm here.
We'll be out of town tomorrow and Thursday. I just had surgery as well.
We could go Thursday night.
Did you?
So, yeah,
If you guys want to go to the Hillview.
I had
Yeah.
surgery for
Thursday night.
endometriosis.
Oh,
This is my
yeah.
second surgery, so I go see the surgeon.
See, what day do we leave?
in
Sunday.
Paseo.
The 6th.
I
Yeah.
have that.
So yeah.
Maybe Thursday night.
Yeah. You guys got a phone? I could give you my phone number.
My phone's in the
I'll
car.
go get the phones, but do you want to go Thursday night?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. We gotta make that a date, man.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cause see, I was planning on walking everywhere and doing a whole bunch of stuff, and everybody's like, you shouldn't do that in a wheelchair. You can't run. And I'm like,
I don't need to.
why? Why would I run?
I would go scope out, if y'all are going in the neighborhood, do it during the day first to make sure you can get around.
Yeah.
Oh, she can get around.
There's sidewalks.
You just
There's sidewalks, and because I saw where Mo passed out.
through here because wheels keep on touching.
Yeah.
I've been wheeling her through like this.
Yeah. Next time, warn me.
There's a couple cars going to dump her though.
And then my mom's in a wheelchair right now too, so if he leaves you, I got you.
Well, it was funny because he was just pushing
and
me.
see what it is.
There you go.
Oh God, just remind me not to jump up to go see too.
You wouldn't get very far.
No, I remember.
Can you walk on them yet?
No,
She can
I can
stand
get
on
on
the
my
heels.
heels.
She can
But-
do a very slow shuffle walk as long as she's got somebody
Here.
to hold on to.
See, this is me. Here, hold that.
Pull up, but they won't even get out of the car or anything. I wonder if they're freaked out because there's so many people in here.
Come here,
That's what
Josh.
we did. We walked around because we were like, here are these people.
See, this is me.
We don't want to be weird.
This is me.
Oh, be careful.
That's me. But I don't dare do it too much here because it's such an uneven ground.
Yeah.
So can you pull that out? Is this
This is the area
This
you
one
don't
you
want
No.
that at.
pull the
She's
pull
been,
the
helping
jacket.
me embrace it 'cause she
Pull the
sleeps
jacket.
more, and whenever
Thank
I
you.
really like think about it, I feel a lot more. And there's something in our house that looks like the white lady, the white lady right there, and it's attached to her mom. It's so weird, and it doesn't go in her room, but her room's on the other side of the house, and there's like this extra living room type den thing in between the kitchen and her room, and it stays there under the chandelier. And it like basically faces the chandelier, and then there's a little boy in our house. And he was there before I got there, and you can hear him if you get up.
Go
to see
check
how-
my phone and make sure Marie might not walk over here because
and it's
if that's her.
Have a
It's not
say
a
run over.
regular little kid laugh.
Isaiah,
It's really creepy.
come here.
Careful, little kid ones, because they're not.
Oh, she's
always
driving.
little kids.
Well, see, he feels to me because I can feel.
Go to the car
I've never like,
and check my phone
hold on, so he's not
and make sure Marie didn't write me.
all good.
Give him the keys. Give him the keys. You'll see it.
The thing I've learned, because I've been doing this for a long time, I get creeped out, like really creeped out when it's any type of little kid spirit, because little kid spirits are 9 out of 10 times, they're not little kids.
She's seen him though, and that's what I don't.
That's the thing though, is they come to you as little kids to make you think that it's easier and safe, you know? But, and then once you start to embrace them more,
Then they
then
start showing
they
their.
start, exactly,
True
they
colors.
start showing their true colors.
She won't pull him in completely, and I'm like,
Don't.
I've heard a little bit, but I won't.
Yeah, don't.
I have a little kid who's been following me since my
You
kids
were a
were
kid.
babies.
Well, since before then.
Yeah, but the time that I really knew that I had a child with me. Okay, one time it was.
Child?
It's an actual
child
child.
spirit.
It's a child spirit. What it is
Tell him about the little
is the very first time that it happened was I was actually in a shelter because I just broke up with their dad, and I was upstairs and I'd put my kids to bed, and I was talking to another lady there, and the next thing I know, I'm feeling like a kid running up to me and going under my nightgown, like my kids do. And then I turned around really fast and I looked and there was nobody there. And she's like looking at me like, what? And then they told me things like that happened there. And then when we moved into our apartment, my third daughter, my youngest daughter, was probably about 3. And we were getting ready to take off, and this was in daytime. This was in the daytime. You're welcome. And we're all getting ready to leave. Got all the kids in the car and everything like that. Okay, watch out. You're in the way. Got all the kids in the car and all that. And the mailman was there, and the manager's daughter was there. And we were all talking while I was getting the kids buckled in. And I look up and I see a little girl in the window. And she so resembled my daughter, Kathy. And I look in the car because thinking, God, did I leave her in the car? I mean, in the house? And I looked and she was in there. And I looked again, and you know how you're standing in the window and it's like you're standing on something and getting pulled backwards, and you could tell that they're not walking because they don't have that walking movement.
Right.
The little kid moved backwards just like this and then disappeared. And
Crazy.
she had the hair like my daughter, and she was wearing a white t-shirt,
How about
and
our
we
partner?
all saw it. It wasn't just me.
Right.
You weren't alive.
You weren't even thought of.
Hey,
And wait a minute. And so me and my friend ran upstairs real quick because it's upstairs. We're upstairs.
Right.
Our door is a latch up top, up high, where no kids can unlatch it. And if she's going to jump out the back door, she's jumping off a balcony.
Right.
We went through that whole apartment, and there was no kids in that apartment.
That's definitely
We
something
heard
to mess with
people, we heard children laughing. Oh, bat. We heard children laughing in there when my children weren't there. My friend thought that I was home because she heard the kids laughing in the background, and she went all through the house and nobody was there.
That's
So
crazy.
There's-
we have a kid.
there's something in our apartment now.
I think there's a couple somethings.
Yeah.
Was that we were downstairs and we hear this? What was it? A bang? Was it a bang?
Yeah, like something fell.
Sounds like a truck's coming.
And this
Wouldn't it be weird if somebody else pulled in? That person hasn't even gotten out of their car.
There's two.
Omar!
hey, tell him when I was upstairs and you thought it was me, or
It could be him. No, it couldn't. It's not the right car. It's not.
No.
No. I was thinking, I was listening to the truck.
Is that?
To turn.
Carol.
Hold on.
I know Omar just thought it was
What
like
is
a
that?
truck.
What? Oh, it's a dreadful.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we have to go. Can we get you guys some dinner?
Mine's Kai, K-I.
You can take hers. I'll take.
Okay, Carol.
Okay.
And my phone number is 509
Yep.
940 7192.
Okay, 985 92
Mm-hmm.
75 312 42 78.
And what did you say your last name was? I'm sorry.
Robinson.
I saw my kids
Well, here, I'll
say
give it
Howard
the
Stern, he
Loman
changed it.
Robinson.
I've
LOW.
had it forever, so I'm like, why do you want more
And then, and then Robinson. ROBINSON. Yeah, just look me up, and you got my number, and I'll let you know, because we're going to actually watch this on the TV,
Oh yeah.
because then we can really hear it, you know.
My mom's in a wheelchair right now. She tore her Achilles tendon.
And took
Oh,
a
wow.
piece of bone off with it.
Ow.
So our hour out has been.
Yeah, that's no fun.
No.
That's no fun at all.
No. How is it being in a
I know how
wheelchair?
it is not
these
getting
people are
on.
sitting
I
in
Wheelchairs
pulled my ACL clear
suck.
off 2 years ago,
I want to be in one.
and
It's not fun.
I just
fun.
recently got back to where I could do a
It's
life
fun when
job,
you don't have to be
because
in it.
when they did the
It's not
replacement,
fun when you want to get up
they
and do
said you wanted to
things
be
that
forever or
Yeah.
something like
you
that.
just
They went in,
wanna
took the front of my
go.
shin and took part of my hamstring out.
Can
And-
you ride
Yeah.
roller roller
So it
coasters?
was about 6
Oh, I love
before
roller
was able to
coasters.
lift my toes.
So you can?
Oh, with this? No, I don't think I would with this, but this will be gone in a while.
we're
And
go-
then we gotta go there.
Okay.
we're gonna go to the
Nice to meet you too.
what is that?
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Where's that? One place that we're gonna go see the
Nancy's Wiki watching.
I'm Kai.
I'm Josh.
Write me your names and say short or tall, and I'll know who's who.
But anyway, me and her were downstairs, and he just left the house.
Oh, about the banging upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was gone, and the dogs were all downstairs with us. You had Tess with you.
You can't make
No,
me pee.
you
No,
were
he
at
went to
work.
work.
And all the dogs were
His door
downstairs
was
with
shut.
us, and we just started hearing bang,
Well,
bang,
then what were
bang.
you gonna make me do?
But there was a time when me and Isaiah were standing downstairs and we were talking to each other, and he was doing something. He was moving something. And then all of a sudden, between me and Jeremiah, we hear a
Me, you and
kid.
Isaiah,
Jeremiah?
your uncle.
Me
Anyways,
and Isaiah, and we hear a boo. And we both were just staring at each other, and I'm like, did you hear that? He's like, yeah. I said, what did you hear? He said, I heard somebody say boo. And I'm like, oh my God. We
How about
were
when we were in the
driving
car?
not too long before that. I was driving Jeremiah back to his house when he had his. And Jeremiah was napping, in the front seat, and Isaiah was in the back, and I was hearing a woman's voice. And I was thinking that he was playing with a game or something like that, watching a video, something.
Right.
And so I'm hearing this woman's voice, and the next thing I hear is Isaiah say, "Grandma, there's a woman talking behind me." I got goosebumps going all the way down. I looked, my phone is sitting next to me.
See you later.
See ya!
Later.
And the radio was off. I checked all the electronics, and Jeremiah didn't have his earphones on, which was amazing.
And I can't do vocal manipulation.
He's so good.
Tell about
But
my
that
mom.
was weird.
My mom and
Oh, his mom had passed away, and we were driving down the road, and he rubs my neck all the time when we're driving down the road. And I had completely forgot that I had gotten my hair cut short, and so I felt a hand go on my neck, and so I went to lift my hair, and I went like this. I could still feel the hand on my neck, and Hank's hands were in his hand, his lap, while we're driving down the road. Oh my God, my eyes started watering. I was like,
Yeah, that happens to me. All my hair stands up on it. My eyes start watering.
Yeah.
Really bad, and
Oh,
I
you
just
know.
start crying. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm crying because I'm
I did that in a grave. I did that in a graveyard.
And then,
Push just kind of rubbed across my face, and my eyes just automatically started watering, and I had no
You know
clue.
how older people, like grandparents and whatnot, that have smoked all their lives, how their fingers have that scent that just doesn't go away?
Yeah, I do.
I'll be back in a minute.
Our grandma, her mother, liked to sit there and she'd go like this, and because she knew not only did it bug you because she was touching your face that you expecting it, but the smell from her fingers.
Right.
She wasn't very good in hygiene.
Yeah. And after she passed away,
It was like she was going like this in front of my face. Nobody has that smell.
Right.
Nobody but her. Nobody. So nobody could ever tell me that it wasn't her, because it was. She was letting us know, and she did it to my daughter while she was working. My daughter had to go into the bathroom. She just started crying.
In a bit. Why?
Because
Okay.
I'm starting to feel like I'm being watched. And I never get that feeling.
I've been feeling that feeling.
well, the only feeling I feel like I'm being watched by right now is the red car.
Yeah.
Right.
And the
That's how I'm
adults.
feeling right now. Is why are they watching us?
Yeah.
Because they pointed their car straight at us, and you know that they're sitting in there watching us.
On the other hand, we're watching them too.
True.
No.
I got you on video.
True.
Kinda. Little teeny tiny red spot.
I wonder if they're in there smoking pot.
Popping my ribcage.
Does it feel good?
It does.
Sorry, I had to say
I was
it.
about 13 or 14 years old, and me and one of my friends were wrestling, and he
Sam,
jumped up and he kicked me in the
run this
chest
to
and
the
cracked
car.
my ribs.
And check to see if
And ever
Marie wrote
since
me.
then, the muscles in my chest will slowly start to tighten.
He didn't
when I'm
lock it,
standing
right?
for a long period of time. But that
No.
was good.
Ow, you kicked
And
me.
so I leaned back, and you'll hear
No, that's good enough.
and it's all my muscles popping loose in my chest.
Not hard enough. Not hard enough.
It feels good when I do
No.
it because
Go.
it literally feels like
Go check
something
to see if
slowly
Marie's
getting
coming.
on my chest.
Go
and
check
I
to
just-
see if Marie's
And
coming.
you'll hear a
You told me to do it harder.
I do that with my hips. Ever since I had the kids, my hips pop.
Uh-huh.
And so I'll just stand there and I'll just move just right, and then you'll hear this loud thunk thunk. My hips. My old man, he like freaks out every time I do it because he's like, "What was that?" And I'm like, "It was just my hips." He goes, "It sounds like something exploded." And I was like, "Yeah, my
Yeah, my
hips
hips.
exploded."
My hips did.
It's like, "Sorry, hon."
I found out that if I do that and I have my mouth open at the same time, it echoes. I was sitting at work and one of my clients was talking to me, and I'm about ready to say something, and I went, anyway.
I love that sound, the cicadas, because you don't get them like this where we live.
Yeah, we don't
but
get
we
cicadas.
had these. No, we do.
In
If
Fresh
you
Cities?
if you listen really good, and it's just not loud like this, but we have a little bit. But it's nothing like this. And when I grew up in Arizona, and I used to, do you have them where you used to live? So
We have
you've seen the
10 times
shells.
worse than what we have here in
You've
Florida.
seen the shells that they leave on the.
everywhere.
Yeah, I used to catch them. They're harmless.
They are harmless.
They're just like
They like to dive bomb you. You know, and I hate it when they dive bomb you because when they hit you, they're so big, it hurts.
I've never had them dive bomb me.
No, out there in Kansas, they dive bombed you all the time.
Really?
Oh yeah.
The first time that my kids got to actually see one, which you probably don't remember, I saved it from the river. The river, Columbia River, when I took you guys down the river, there was one in the water, and I actually saved it, and I let the kids hold it, and so that's when they saw their first ones. But
Right.
we went to Arizona last year, Sedona, and that's when they really got to hear them for the first time.
Oh, go to Kansas in the middle of the summer and step outside in the evenings. You won't even be able to hear me talk if you're sitting that far away.
Really?
All you hear is like, and it's so loud. And it's
Do you
just
think
like,
it's annoying, or do you like it?
I like it now that it's not so loud, but up there I hated it because I mean you were having to scream if you were outside so that you were being heard over the top of them.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were just, it was to that point where it's like you'd have to have your TV turned all the way up to 60 if you had any of your windows open because you couldn't hear nothing else but them. And my dog was always trying to eat them. Always trying to eat them. So I was always finding dead cicadas in my house.
It's
Yeah.
locked. It's locked.
Oh, Hank, unlock the door. Isaiah, he's unlocking it.
Yeah, you guys can have my keys too. Huh? I said, yeah, you guys can have my keys too.
Okay.
Hold it up higher.
Go closer. Didn't you lock it from here?
Normally I don't go anywhere out here without being armed. Today I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, it's okay, you know, numbers.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's funny because I feel safe. You know, I don't feel like I'm in danger. I do feel like, you know, like somebody's here.
Oh yeah.
You know,
They're definitely
you
here.
can feel them.
Michael's here.
You can
not
feel.
just Michael's here. A lot of them are here.
Yeah.
Michael
But-
is very talkative.
No, I was gonna say for the amount of time I spent driving and the amount of time I spent awake, so I worked Wednesday and Thursday last week, and I worked graveyard. We left Friday morning as soon as I got home. I didn't take a nap or anything. We just got in the car and went. I worked 10-hour shifts.
Ooh, they're standing out of the car
And I
now.
was working on finishing getting my client's trip ready. I was rushing, trying to get everything finished up before I left. And so the days leading up to the trip, I think I got about 5 hours of sleep. And then I was awake the 10-hour shift that night without sleeping at all the day before.
Right.
And then working the night before that. And then I drove.
Can you tell him if she wrote to bring it to me?
We left the
Thank
Tri
you.
Cities at 10:30 in the morning, and we didn't stop until 11 at night.
Oh Jesus.
And we went through one or two times.
Oh no.
It was.
And then I slept like 6 hours, and then back on the road for another.
He slept longer than I did, though.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I was the passenger. But
They
for
had to
some
keep on
reason,
switching out front seat.
I couldn't sleep.
Right.
You know, and even when we stopped the car,
I
no.
was isolated.
And then every time I would